Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to all the participants. We are going to start our today's event. I just share my screen. Today's event is on climate change and health, organized by Lincoln University College in association with Social Environment Biological Association, Sheba, Kolkata, India. And this climate change and health is related, means supporting to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 13, climate action. So today's environment, we are talking on different types of climatic action on our health. And in this aspect, we have from Sheba, we have Dr. Supatra Sen, Social Environmental Biological Association, and of course, Dr. Professor Mohammad Hassan Habib, Professor of Chemistry, Dhaka University, Bangladesh, and myself, Dr. Sandeep Poddar from Lincoln University College, Malaysia. We are organizing this event from Lincoln University College, Malaysia, which is one of the Times higher ranking 35th rank in education delivery, and of course ISO certified university, and many other programs we are running, different undergraduate and postgraduate, and we are doing different types of events, conferences every month, every time. You can see in the conference website. And as we are learning late in time, because due to some disturbances, we start late. So we just welcome Dr. Supatra Sen, madam. Dr. Supatra Sen, I must tell first, is actually, she is very senior than me from Calcutta, and she has done MSc in botany, and of course have M.Med and then MPhil and PhD from University of Calcutta. She studied her bachelor and other bachelor degree from Presidency College, at present Presidency University, and she is currently associate professor of botany in Ashutosh College under University of Calcutta, and has published over more than 100, I think, international book, papers, and reviews, and academic career spanning 3 decades. She has edited several UGC-funded ISBN volumes. Her research interests are environmental stress, physiology, biochemical ecology, and she won the Environmentalist of the Year Award in 2014 and the Best Faculty Award 2017. Dr. Sen is the founder and chief editor of ISSN peer-reviewed multidisciplinary academic journal Harvest, and of course, she is the president of Sheba. So I welcome Madam Dr. Supatra Sen, madam, to deliver the inauguration talk. Madam, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Poddar. Thank you so much. And I have the responsibility of leading Sheba, the full form of which is Social, Environmental, and Biological Association. And our website is SEBA2004.com. SEBA, that's SEBA 2004.com. That's our website. So SEBA was initiated in 2004, and it is an organization which comprises mainly of scientists. Many of them are very senior retired scientists, and they are from different branches of life science, biology that is, and they have come together to work for different environment-related issues. And they also work with a social cause. So this came into existence in 2004 and now has a number of members. Many of them, they come from different parts of the country and also abroad. And most importantly, we publish a journal of environment and sociobiology, which is, yes, this is the Journal of Environment and Sociobiology, and this is in the UGCK list. This is recognized by the University Grants Commission. So this is published twice a year, and we invite articles on all forms of articles which pertain to life science, environment, and of course, society. So that is more or less a brief introduction about SEBA. I heartily thank Professor Dr. Shundip Poddar, someone I have known over many years now. He has been very close to me. He has helped me in many of my projects and assignments. And now we have come up with this collaborative webinar. It's an international webinar. Very happy to virtually meet Dr. Poddar and of course, Dr. Ehsan Habib from Bangladesh. It's a privilege on behalf of SEBA, and also, of course, it is a privilege for me personally to be meeting so many, international dignitaries on this virtual platform. So I look forward to a very enriching webinar, and I thank Dr. Poddar once again for his wholehearted support and his team from Lincoln University College for this continued cooperation and support for this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Poddar.
Thank you, Dr. Subhatra, madam. And now I welcome our today's first speaker, Professor Dr. Hassan Habib. Sir, you are here, I think. Sir is here, I think. No problem.
Can I share my screen?
Just, sir, I just tell you detail then. Today we are here on climate change and health, supporting United Nations to a sustainable goal, number 13, climate action. And Dr. Hassan Habib is professor of Department of Chemistry, University of Dhaka, Bangladesh. He is very well-known person, and he done his most of the research in Japan, and he has many international collaborations as well. I just give a brief description about him. Dr. Hassan Habib is currently working as full professor, Department of Chemistry, Analytical and Environmental Chemistry section, University of Dhaka, Bangladesh, from where he has completed the bachelor degree in 1990, MSc in 1993, and he has completed MPhil from Department of Chemistry, Bangladesh University Engineering and Technology in 2001. In 2004, Professor Hassan Habib obtained PhD from Department of Chemistry, Saga University, Japan, and he completed 4 postdoctoral researches along with JSPS Invitation Fellowship at 5 Japanese universities in various fields of chemistry. Professor Habib has also worked as a visiting professor at Ningbo University at Guangzhou Institute of Geochemistry, China. Dr. Habib published 55, not 55, I think more than that. I think 55, 20 around that is in Scopus Index paper. And total impact factor is 180 in 2021 in different reputed international journals and delivered talks at many international conferences. And of course, he is very humble person, what I can tell. And when I told that, sir, you have to deliver a talk, he immediately agreed. There is nothing that, okay, I don't have busy schedule, etc., etc. He immediately told, yes, I will manage, no problem. Because today also Bangladesh is working day, Saturday, and he is very supportive in that way. And so he want to deliver the talk. And also, if you follow his Facebook page and etc., you can see many research topics on related to spectrophotometry and new types of innovations always coming up, and different papers he discussed in Facebook on his social media. to aware the people and the scientists, of course, like me. Sir also invited me to join one collaborative research paper, and we have published it in Scopus in the journal. And of course, there are many things. He visited Malaysia also different times, occasions, and visited other university and also Lincoln University College. Here also he delivered talk. So it is not new person. We are very old friends actually, we can tell, if sir permit. Sir, now the stage is yours, and sir will discuss on his specialized talk on municipal solid waste and medical waste management in Bangladesh, problems and solution. So sir, please, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Poddar. Okay, how I can go to my slide? Maybe you have to close and then I can go.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen. Yes.
We can see. Okay, good. Now in Malaysia, okay, I can say good noon. Maybe Bangladesh, Kolkata, and Malaysia just afternoon. And Bangladesh is still good morning, and Kolkata also still good morning. So good day. Okay, thank you, Professor Poddar, to introduce me. Today's webinar, international webinar on climate change and health. Actually, we know each other maybe more than 10 years. I visited many times Lincoln University in Malaysia. Actually, we are very good friends. I do hope we are very good friends. So, actually, my fundamental research in chemistry, I have different wings like fundamental chemistry, chemical kinetics, and then some DNA chemistry, and some organic synthetic chemistry, especially porphyrin chemistry and metallocomplex, and some bioanalytical and bioinorganic chemistry, like some metallocomplex. And the other part is my current research topic, POPs monitoring, persistent organic pollutants in Bangladesh. Actually, I am working with a big project from China, Silk Road project from China. It's a very big project. And my special attention also the development of instrumentation, especially mass spectrometry. Okay, today's talk a little bit different since I am working on POPs, persistent organic pollutants, and one of the projects already have done on the basis of the waste management, and basically what organic pollutants could be emitted from the solid waste, municipal solid waste or medical solid waste. I'll show you what is happening and what we need to solve the problem. So today's talk, municipal solid waste and municipal waste management in Bangladesh, problems and solutions. Already Professor Poddar already introduced me. This is my education and professional activities. Now I am working as a full professor in the Department of Chemistry, University of Dhaka. And my work on POPs, PCB and PCN, polychlorinated biphenyls and polychlorinated naphthalines, using passive air sampler. Actually, I was in Japan at Yokohama National University in 2008, 2009. already I mentioned, actually my background is physical chemistry. So when I joined as a postdoc fellow with this project, my understanding was this is just monitoring, just reporting. There is no research at all. Then I left this lab after 1.5 years and moved to physics lab, organic semiconductor. And this is really fundamental science. Actually, then later I realized in our modern society, we need about the environmental science. So then I moved again by the inspiration of Professor Gan of Guangzhou Institute of Geochemistry. Actually, Professor Gan is here, Professor Gan Zhang, and he invited me in 2016, Habib, please come, China, and you will be the responsible person in Bangladesh, and we have a very big project. And then I again, actually I'm motivated by Professor Gan. Actually, environmental issue is very lucrative. Actually, our urbanization and industrialization, what we are getting? We are getting pollution. We are getting pollution. And air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution, unbelievably in the developing countries. Actually, I know in Bangladesh, of course, in India also, maybe the same scenario. So this is our first paper. Then I collaborated with Professor Gauri Liu in Guangzhou, Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing. This is also very good work. And this is also with Professor Gauri Liu. Actually, we collected some samples from dumping places in Bangladesh, especially in Dhaka. I will show you the picture later. Background of my talk. Actually, municipal solid waste management is an environmental issue that has received considerable attention from researchers and environmental managers for decades. Actually, the solid waste management, maybe 50 years back or 30 years back, it was not a problem like in Bangladesh. But now, due to highly densely population in Bangladesh, especially in Dhaka, the solid waste tremendously increased, and also the management also becomes very problematic. Rapid population growth, economic development, industrialization, and modernization have led to the need for consumption of waste disposal. That we know. Waste management has become an important and indispensable industry in both developed and developing countries to minimize their negative impacts on human health and the surrounding environment. The environmental pollution situation in many countries have currently worsened because of unsustainable management. This is the very big problem. Actually, our management, not a very proper management. And we need very good management. If our management is good, so everything will be good. Governments and the public are aware of the terrible harms of environmental pollution, but finding a proper solution is really challenging. Unsorted waste, littering, ineffective collection, open landfill dumping, and outdated technologies are existing problems in the waste management of developing countries. In Bangladesh, the waste crisis is a major issue that receives the most attention from researchers. Many studies have focused on waste classification, waste treatment, and recycling. Actually, recycling is a very good way, but I will show you how the recycling made a problem or makes problem, especially e-waste. numerous action plans have been executed, but almost all of them have not yielded positive results, as the current situation in waste management has not yet improved. The amount of waste increases daily and is gradually exceeding the capacity of the Bangladesh government. The long stagnation of waste in open landfills and improper waste treatment cause various impacts on the community and the environment. Finally, the implementation of an effective domestic solid waste management policy is an important platform for improving environmental quality and ensuring the suitability or suitable development of the nation and for the mankind. What we do in Bangladesh, actually, if you consider the municipal city like Dhaka, the collection of solid wastes from houses and factories. Actually, I will show you the picture, the van like man-made vehicle and manual vehicle. There are many city workers like labor, daily paid base labor. They collect the solid waste from the houses and factories, and they transport it by manual van. We have some selected area and we have the warehouse of the solid waste. And they collected the solid waste from the houses and factories to the area basis waste collection house, and then transported by city corporation trucks, open landfills by city corporation. Municipal solid waste management system in urban areas in Bangladesh. Collection of medical waste. This is we call the solid waste management. How we collect the solid waste from the houses and factories, and this is the medical waste. Collection of medical waste from hospitals and clinics, and also transported by like special vehicles to the medical waste incineration plant. As I know, in Bangladesh, we have only one medical waste incineration plant in Dhaka. Okay, this is the man-made vehicle, and the worker, they are collecting the solid waste from the factories and the houses, and they collect it, and this is the warehouse. This is the very temporarily, and the worker, they dump the wastage for few hours, and then the lorry and trucks of the city corporation bring these wastage to the landfills. And this is the collector in the warehouses. Okay, these are the city corporation truck. They are carrying the solid waste from the small warehouses in the city, and they are carrying to the landfill. So like this. Okay, these are the landfill in Dhaka. A recent report that revealed Matuil Dhaka landfill emits 4 tons of methane into the atmosphere every hour. So government will test methane emissions from 6 sources in Bangladesh. So in the last summer, we noticed from the dump landfill, the methane emission. Actually, we know how the methane forms in the landfill. We called the ghost light in our elementary or school chemistry books. We know this is due to the methane. Actually, methane emit from the wetland. Wetland means if the leaves and the trees with time by bacteria, and the methane is actually formed, and then when they comes out, the methane when comes out to the atmosphere, actually they react with oxygen in the Amavasya, in the dark night, we can see some lighting. Actually, once we believed it could be the unseen or unknown phenomena. Actually, this is our in Indian subcontinent, our traditional concept. So this is the dumping place. This is a Gauri Liu from Beijing. We collected sample already. I showed you the publication. This actually, if you look here, the dumping side and the just below the dumping side, actually all the heavy metals, they are leaching out from the dumping, and this is the water reservoir. And the people, they usually fishing from this reservoir. So how dare they? Actually, almost all the toxic metals may leach from the dumping place and they come to the water reservoir, and the fish, these actually different type, of course, the organic pollutants as well as inorganic heavy metals, they can accumulate in the sediment, they can accumulate as well as in the fish species. During in 2016, 17 January or February, and this Chinese group, they visited Bangladesh and we collected together the sample. Okay, the very alarming situation in the dumping place. Actually, this is the old site, for example, 15 or 20 years. And the poor city dwellers, they are cultivating the vegetables here. How dear they are. They are cultivating the vegetables and they are eating the vegetables. Sometimes they sold out these vegetables to the local market. So actually, we know that our Professor Shen, she from botany, and plant to plant or species to species, they have the intake capability. So definitely all types of vegetables, they can intake heavy metals as well as the organic pollutants, and the people who are cultivating the vegetables in the dumping place, and this is really alarming in Bangladesh, to cultivate vegetables and to eat the vegetables as edible purpose. Okay, this is the very black shoot from the medical waste incineration plant. This is the medical waste incineration plant. Actually, what is our target? Our target, actually, medical waste is very non-hygienic. There are some bacteria and some pathogens, etc. So our first motivation was to destroy all the pathogens. Okay, but what we are doing, we are emitting the pollutants to the environment. And we are submitting additional 2 papers from this work. This is the passive air sampling, and actually maybe that 2 manuscript will be very nice from this. Actually, I will show you, I can show you all over Bangladesh. We deployed some passive air samplers. This is called passive air samplers, and collected. We used some special type of foam, polyurethane foam, inside the stainless steel made bowl, and for 8 weeks, and within 8 weeks, the air pollutants should come to equilibrated with the urethane foam. So this is actually a special type and passive, no need any energy. So this is the plastic waste problem. The plastic waste problem in Bangladesh. You look here, the situation in Dhaka. So recycling activities of lead acid battery in Bangladesh. This is another very big problem. Maybe last 10 years or 12 years, increasing, tremendously increasing the power-driven auto rickshaw in Bangladesh. And if you look here, this is the map of Bangladesh, and the power-driven auto rickshaw is highly dense, like Dhaka and around the Dhaka, this is the Khulna, and the some places the density of the power driven auto rickshaw is quite high. And they used the leaded battery, and after use, when the battery became old, actually, if you look, their recycling process is very alarming. Actually, they don't have very illiterate person. They are using their hand with the lead and sulfuric acid system, and they don't have minimum knowledge about the toxicity of the lead. This is really alarming situation in Bangladesh about the recycling of the lead acid battery. Okay, this is the lead acid battery, and the people, they are working, they are recycling. You know, minimum they don't use the hand gloves. You understand? This is the lead plate. So how dear they are. The workers engaged with these activities do not know the severe toxic effects of lead to the human health or human body. Measures should take immediately to recycling the lead acid battery with proper protocols. Yes, of course, we have to recycle of the wastage, but we need proper protocols for the recycling. E-waste recycling activities, if you look in Bangladesh, e-waste, electronic waste, and ship breaking yard in Bangladesh, we know in Chittagong we have very big yard, very big yard. The old ship we know, in Bangladesh, the urbanization, of course, the construction is growing very fast. So we need the construction materials, especially steel. Unfortunately, we don't have any minerals of the iron. So that is why maybe from like 1965 or before that, in Chittagong, actually here I can show you, and this is the Bay of Bengal, and all the ship breaking yard is here. Yeah, the ship breaking yard. And this is the 2.5 tons, metric tons, the e-waste, and you can see computers, mobile phones, etc. This is very low. And here is the table including all the e-waste, how they are according their percentage e-waste. A flow diagram of recycling of e-waste producer. This is the very simple and inappropriate disposal. If we dispose without scientifically, non-scientifically, so that must give the negative impact to the human health. This is the e-waste. E-waste, it can emit the heavy metals. Actually, why the poor people? Once China was the dumping of the e-waste, but the Chinese government took the decision in January 1st, 2020, last year, 2020, they prohibited, 100% prohibited to import e-waste in China. Now, the e-waste, once the plastic was imported to Malaysia, and the Malaysian government, if I remember correctly, from the University of Malaya, in one seminar, also they 100% prohibited to import the plastic in Malaysia, plastic waste. Now, the e-waste, the dumping place like Bangladesh, and the best place is Africa. Africa is the best place for e-waste dumping. And from the e-waste, of course, the heavy metals as well as the organic pollutants, especially PCB and polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Okay, this is my photo. You know, in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, we have the very big river, Buriganga. Actually, Buriganga River, just in the Dhaka, in the city of the Dhaka. And the poor people, the city dwellers, they are really poor. They collected the e-waste and they bring to the bank of the river. Actually, our Buriganga river, this is the concrete, the river, concrete, to protect the erosion, soil erosion. And the people, they collected the e-waste from the dumping place and they bring the e-waste here and they burn with petrol. Okay, what is happening? The residue is the inorganic part and the conversion is the organic part. And what we are doing, the organic part contains the organic pollutants, especially PCB. Actually, in our previous two papers, the latest papers, one is Science and Environmental Technology of the ACS journal. We published over there. And we know the mechanism, the particle, the metallic particle, the surface is the act as catalyst for the formation of the PCB, the polychlorinated biphenyls. When we burning the e-waste, because the e-waste must contain copper, semiconductor, and the metallic connection. We usually also use the gold. Gold is very good conductor in case of semiconductor. So the people, they are collecting the residue. That residue must contain copper, gold, silver, and they usually sold out to the traders in Dhaka. So this is the situation. Blockchain can solve the growing e-waste problem. Actually, this is the blockchain, the manufacturer to the user. If we do, because this is the e-waste, and if we use the proper code, then we can easily collect. So the manufacturer usually know, okay, they are manufacturing millions of mobile phones. And after 10 years, they can know the distribution of the 1 million mobile phone globally. Actually, this is the blockchain can solve the growing e-waste problems. Okay, this is a very big problem. Like in Bangladesh, I do believe in India also the same thing. This is the transformer, electric transformer. Once maybe 20 years or 30 years back or 50 years. So this transformer, old transformer, they used the transformer oil as a technical mixture of PCB, PCN, polychlorinated biphenyls and polychlorinated naphthalenes. You look here, this is the technical mixture, highly toxic. Actually, in case of PCB, PCB has 2006 isomer and PCN has maybe 137 isomer. Okay. Some of the isomer like dioxin type isomer, PCB, they are more toxic than cyanide. We people, actually, when I entered 2008 at Yokohama National University, until that, it was not known to me the organic pollutants may be more toxic than cyanide. You understand my point? So, as a chemistry student, as a chemistry worker, it was not known to me the organic pollutants may more toxic than cyanide. Okay. So, what about for the common people? In Bangladesh, maybe in Kolkata also the same culture, the people, they don't care about the organic pollutants. And due to ignoring the toxic effect of organic pollutants and also the good lab facilities actually for the good analysis of organic pollutants, because organic pollutants is very low level. So we don't have very good lab facilities in Bangladesh still now, still today. We don't have, we can do some work, but it is very not like reporting, very primary work, not very advanced work. So this is the old transformer and the soil and floor contaminated with PCB and PCN. The very interesting, I had a chance to visit many power distribution office in Dhaka and other places in Bangladesh. the engineer, the office staff, they don't have, please quote it, they don't have any minimum idea about the chemicals, this technical mixture, and their toxic effect. What is the chemical? What is the structure? What their toxic effect for the human health? Believe me, only God knows. They don't have any idea about this. So this is the situation for the solid waste management situation in Bangladesh, like this. And very terrible, the technical mixture, they are floating on the floor. How terrible is it? Like this. And this is the steel mill, actually the Chittagong, the shipyard, old shipyard Dracaena, actually over there we cut the ship and then we make a small ship and then bring to Dhaka and other places. And this is the steel mill factory, and then re-rolling. This is one. And the other part, other factory in Dhaka, actually they melt the old steel sheet and then reform newly. And there are two types. Actually, of course, after melting, and then the quality should be enhanced and the price also high. And this is also the welding. Welding is the source for the emission of the polyaromatic hydrocarbon and PCB. And this is the furnace, and this is the worker. Actually, they don't have any. I had a very good chance to talk to them. Actually, they are damn care about the toxic effect, about the, but they feel they are not normal. If they stay in their village for 1 week, they feel very comfortable. But when they come here, they feel some asthmatic problem and inhaling problem. And this is the shipyard in Chittagong, already I mentioned, the PCB, PAs, and HCV. And we have only report in yard PCB, yard persistent organic pollutants in only Chittagong, but we monitored, and maybe this week, I hope I will submit to manuscript overall Bangladesh. And this is the shipyard, and this is the dockyard, and the people, the worker, they don't know about what is emitting, actually some PCB, PAs, and some other organic pollutants. And this is also the very big problem in Dhaka, the brick field. The brick field use the coal, and coal, this is the very good emitter of mercury. Number one, mercury. We know coal has trace level of mercury. In dry season or in the winter, when all the brick field started in operation, then the mercury level, air mercury level in Dhaka, around Dhaka city, becomes quite high. And also the coal contains sulfur and also the forming SOx, sulfur dioxide or sulfur oxide. And this is our campion, passive air sampling all over the, and this is the Chittagong, this is some place, and this is the Shiddirganj in Dhaka. They have the gas turbine power plant. This is our chemistry building, the top of the new chemistry building, and this is our medical waste incineration plant. And my another work is photocatalyst, actually from my 2000 years. Yes, from 2000, since 2000, I have been working on photocatalysis. I have many papers on photocatalysis. My main objective, solar light drive-in photocatalyst, to synthesize solar light drive-in photocatalyst. We collected, you know, we people, we are discharging the textile or dyeing industry wastewater to the water reservoir like this way. We collected this wastewater like this, and then in our top. This is the photocatalysis under the solar light, and after 50 or 60 minutes like this, we can mineralize or decolorize or degradation of the organic dye under the solar light using our solar light sensitive photocatalyst. And this is the common scenario. You look here, what the people is doing. And this is in winter season, the Sam river. This is the Turak river in Dhaka. In winter, there is no water flow at all, and the water level becomes very low, and the water becomes very dark. And this is the Buriganga river. This is the Buriganga river, very black. And in the winter, you can smell the bad smell from maybe 1 or 2 kilometers far away. You can smell. And arsenic pollution, actually, this is the inherently problem in Bangladesh. In also West Bengal, the same problem. Concluding remarks: due to rapid urbanization and industrialization in Bangladesh, environment became contaminated significantly in the last few decades. People are unconscious about the negative impact of wastage to the environment as well as to human health. Proper management of wastage in Bangladesh is a big problem, big challenge. Because, from the textile and dyeing industry, one cloth, for example, one cloth like for the lady cloth, for example, in Bangladesh, for example, 400 taka. If we do well management of the solid waste, it could be 420 taka. At the root level, the people who can buy one cloth by 400 taka, he or she can buy 420 taka. This is the mentality, and we need proper management to rescue the environment in Bangladesh. There is no alternative way. Necessary steps should be paid to make a master plan for managing wastage in order to save the environment and the population and the other lives. And this is my international research collaboration. This is the Ningbo University. Actually still I am working with Professor Wynn in mass spectrometry. Every year we are publishing at least 2 or 3 papers, very quality papers in international journal. Professor Chen in Puli University of Technology, and Professor Lin of Tsinghua University. Actually, he loves me like his younger brother. And Professor Go, CEO of Hesin Mass Spectrometry Company in Guangzhou. Actually, I am working with Hesin Mass Spectrometry. This is another topic. If we have chance, we can talk again how we can fabricate the instrument and environmental monitoring equipment based on mass spectrometry. They are doing very good job. Doing very good job. This is the online monitoring for air quality. And Professor Gan of Guangzhou Institute of Geochemistry, still I am working with them on POPs. This is Chinese group. In 2017 February, they visited Bangladesh, and this is at that time he was our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University, and I visited with Professor Shin in Hangzhou in China in a factory, and in another this is the Xiamen University, and Professor Chen, she is working in the mangrove. We know the Sundarban. The species, actually, the Professor Shen, maybe it's your topic. Actually, anyway, I engaged with her or her group about the species in the Sundarbans. Some species can accumulate highest level of carbon dioxide, and some species low level compared to mainland species. Actually, we are working I am working with Professor Chen in this regard. And Professor Gan, he visited, this is our Buriganga River, our team and his team, and Professor Gauri Liu. And this is in China, actually, this is Guangzhou Tower, very good tower. And actually, maybe now second home is China. And this is in my Japan life, my PhD supervisor, Professor Masaki Tabata, his physicist, Professor Ueno in Chiba University. I had a very good chance to learn physics, fundamental physics on organic semiconductor. And Professor Hirooka of University of Yamanashi, he taught me the mass spectrometry work, and Professor Matsunaga of Yokohama National University, I had a very good chance to work with him on POPs, persistent organic pollutants, and Professor Professor Wari of University of Tokyo, I had a chance for 1 year to work with him or with his team on SIMS, secondary and mass spectrometry. Thank you for your attention. This is our old chemistry building established in 1921. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any query, any question, please welcome to know. Actually, this is a little bit, this is the real scenario in Bangladesh. Actually, we need to solve some problems.
Any participant want to make any question, please? I think no questions, sir. I just checked YouTube also. I think no question.
Okay. Thank you again.
Just one. Okay. Sir, thank you for your nice deliberation, and we must appreciate certificate of appreciation to you, sir, for giving your time, valuable time with us to spend your valuable thoughts on waste management. It is not waste management actually. You describe all the events of shipyard to computer waste and then oil seepage. Many aspects you have covered, as well as how the society is affected, the health of the common people. So thank you once again, sir, for spending your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you, sir. Please accept.
Okay, thank you, Professor Poddar. I do hope we can publish again one more paper soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We will work on. And now, without wasting much time, I want to invite our next speaker. Madam Shupatra Sen. As I told already our description, so no need to again talk about her. And she is at present president of Sheva and working as associate professor in Department of Botany, Ashutosh College under University of Calcutta. And now I request Madam Subhatra Sen to give her deliberation on sustainability through green psychology, combating climate change. Madam, please.
Visible? Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible and am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kothar. So here is my topic, sustainability through green psychology, combating climate change. So the issue is climate change, and we have to consider, not only consider, but we have to take serious action in combating it. So the tagline is reimagine, recreate, restore. And this was the theme of the World Environment Day in 2021. And we talk of restoration of the ecosystem. We talk of restoration because due to negative anthropogenic interference, we have brought about a lot of undesirable changes in the climate. And the United Nations Decade for Ecosystem Restoration, this will continue from this year, 2021, till 2030. This is the United Nations Decade. And 2030 is also, incidentally, the deadline for the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So by 2030, we have a very good idea of what we wish to do. And so climate change is for people and for this planet. We have to restore this planet and our planet. And we see it's a pandemic that and not and socio-economic crisis. So this is also the decade of action, because we've had a lot of discussions, we've had a lot of plans, we've talked of executions and a lot of things, but now it is the action decade, and we need to take action on 3 levels. That is on the global level, on the local level, and on the people level. So global action, we need to be aware and we need to take action globally, locally, where the local institutions and the regulatory bodies, the local governments, the cities, they need to participate, and the people, at the individual level, they need to take action. And we talk of Greta Thunberg, the climate activist, the climate change activist, and no, discussion on climate change is ever complete without mentioning Greta Thunberg, who says, I want you to act. This being the decade of action, she insists on saying that I want you to act as you would in a crisis. So this is one of a unique crisis which is created by man and which has to be solved by man himself. I want you to act as if the house is on fire. And our house is really on fire. And here we are, involving all sectors. When we talk of sustainability, we talk of the common area among environment, society, and economy. We talk of the common area, that is the area which is common to the environment, the society, and the economy. And on the other hand, we have the academia, the segment that I represent, the teaching community, the researchers, and the community. And the common area to these three will have to address the problems of sustainability. So as we see, climate change is a cross-sectoral issue. This is beyond the individual water, energy, health, agriculture, or biodiversity crisis. This is a cross-sectoral issue, meaning that people from all sectors have to be involved to address this particular issue. And so we talk of sustainability, and we know that Silent Spring, the book by Rachel Carson, published in 1962, this was an epic on the condition of our planet. But much before that, it was the author Fairfield Osborne in 1948, as early as 1948. And the book was called Our Plundered Planet. And this was perhaps the first to talk about environmental degradation. Though this was not as much hyped as Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, yet Our Plundered Planet was the first book which spoke of sustainability without actually using the term. And so we now come to this area of green psychology, where we realize that a lot of the things that we do, the lot of anti-environment activities that we carry out are largely due to our behavior. And behavior, human behavior, is influenced by the environment. It is, a reciprocal relationship. The environment affects human behavior, and in turn, the environment is affected by human behavior. So how is human behavior affected? The buildings, the landscape around us, the people around us, the sound, everything around us will influence the way we behave. So if things around us are calm and quiet, if there is greenery, if there is serenity, we choose to behave in a disciplined and pro-environmental manner. If, on the other hand, there is a crowd, there is pushing, there is an upsurge in population and pollution, human behavior will tend to go out of hand. So we find that the environment, whether it be natural, whether it is the natural environment, or whether it is the man-made environment, this has a significant effect on the feelings that humans have, the behavior, and it will finally or ultimately influence the activity. That is the work they do. So our surroundings need to be extremely optimum for us to behave in the right manner. So the environmental problems that we see, of waste. Just my previous speaker spoke of e-wastes. He sort of highlighted a lot of issues on waste management. And these are really problems of human behavior. Man's attitude, their approach, the collective human actions, and of course, their thoughts, their beliefs, and the values. So you see that most of the environmental attitudes that we show or have are actually due to the environment which has modified us to behave in that particular manner. So if there is pro-environmental behavior, we would be more environment friendly. If there is dirt, if there is pollution, if there is unprecedented, population, if there is, a lot of unhealthiness about the way people are talking and they are unleashed in the language that they use, if there is sound pollution, if there is air pollution, if there is water pollution, you cannot expect a healthy individual to exist in those circumstances. So we are the product of our environment. And how can environmental quality be improved? That is what green psychology says. We can bring about, behavioral changes, because it is ultimately man's behavior which needs to be targeted to bring about any significant change in the environment. So we have to select that behavior. We have to condition our surroundings in such a manner that each individual is prompted to behave in a pro-environmental manner. So we have to seek for those interventions. If you find that loud music is threatening to your work, if you find that the quarrel that is going on around you or heated arguments are proving detrimental, then you just have to learn to do away with all that. You have to shut out that. You have to either move to a place where you find some peace and tranquility, and thereby that improves your behavior and ultimately it enhances your productivity. So that is the target of green psychology. So individuals, if they are intervened in the proper manner, you can achieve long environmental sustainability, because this is what we are driving at ultimately, to achieve long environmental sustainability. And we can do this by environmental interventions, by changing the environment that causes a human to behave in an anti-environmental manner. So if the environment can be modified, human behavior will also change. So here we are. If we use green psychology, we get to know that what factors of the environment are bringing about non-sustainable behavior. We get to know why a child or an adult or a particular individual is going around disturbing the balance of the ecosystem. We can identify the barriers, and thereby we can work on the barriers. We can intervene there. The psychologists can intervene there to promote sustainable behavior. We can think of strategies for bringing about such changes, because it will not be all at once. You cannot, just work magic. It will not be utopia all of a sudden. So we need to think of strategies, improve the communication between and the legislatures, the people who are working on this, and we need to convey this to the planners. And ultimately, this will contribute to policy development and implementation. So the goal of green psychology or eco-psychology or environmental psychology, call it what you may, will ultimately be to create, to manage, to protect and restore environment. And we are talking of ecological restoration in this decade. So this could be a very useful tool in addressing the problems. We could diagnose the problem situations, the problem environment, and then recommend the solutions. So we know already from our experience of Yash, Bangladesh and India, we have experienced Yash, the tropical cyclones, the people of the coastal area have been greatly affected. So, the people whose livelihoods depend and these tropical cyclones have been deadly, to say the least. Yes, this year. We had Amphan last year. In fact, for the last decade, we find that nature has been devastating. And of course, many of us remember the Orissa cyclone of 1999. But the last decade has been particularly very threatening in terms of tropical cyclones. And we have seen many environmental disasters. And so we know that nature has the power to disrupt lives. It can sort of just, create a disaster. And at the same time, it is also a healing agent. So we need to tackle with this crucial aspect in a very sensible manner. It is that one thing that can destroy, it is also that can. So global climate change, we can understand how risks of global climate change occur, the risks of global climate change, and how people are understanding those risks and responding to the risk of global climate change. So we can understand the risks of climate change. We can then clarify and identify the interrelations between the individual and the contextual. That is, the individual belief, the attitude, the approach, the value of the that is social and cultural pattern of the society that would drive many things like population growth, like the economic condition, and also the environmental situation. So technology or ecology, in its role in controlling global climate change, would aspire to describe behaviorally based links. There is a link between population growth. You can connect all these because population growth will lead, unprecedented population growth would lead to unprecedented consumption. And when consumption is unleashed, there would be economic crisis. There would be climate change. We could identify the psychosocial impacts, the social impacts, the psychology influencing society, the psychosocial impacts of climate change. And also, there would be influences at the emotional, cognitive, and the behavioral responses. So it's an interlinked web. Climate change will also significantly affect another aspect. That would be the stress factor in human lives. So what it is, an anticlimax, because climate change has largely been brought about by human interference, by negative interference. And now human beings don't know how to deal with what they have themselves created. So Human beings have to learn how to cope with the stress that they themselves have created. And they have to identify the structural, the cultural, the emotional barriers which are stopping them from having the ideal environment, which are stopping them from having the desired environment, and they themselves have to find or propose methods for overcoming them. So you see, there lies, the anticlimax. He has created the problem. He himself is the sufferer of what he has created, and he also has to find the solution to that problem. So from that, he has to bring about models of behaviors. He has to form a behavioral model. He has to construct a behavioral model that can bring about positive climate change. All this while it has been negative, but now it has to be positive anthropogenic interference. And he has to design something that is pro-environment. He has to design something that works in favor of the environment. Then there is also the task of understanding public and organizational behavior. So it is not only his own individual behavior that he has to consider, but there is also the social task of the public in general, the different organizations which are functioning. So there has to be the designing of effective technologies and information systems. All these must drive to respond to that works for the environment instead of going against it. So now we are facing this pandemic, COVID-19. We know that COVID-19 itself is an outcome of unprecedented climate change. We have destroyed land, there has been habitat fragmentation, there is uncontrolled deforestation, there is conversion of forests to agricultural zones because of tremendous population explosion. There is, the loss of forest area. So we now have to consider reversing those changes. Because since we have brought about these undesirable changes, we have introduced such zoonotic diseases like COVID-19 planet. And it is because of, such habitat destruction and habitat fragmentation that has released diseases like COVID-19. And we have also been warned by environmentalists, we have been warned by the people, the medical practitioners, the researchers of medical science, that if we do not have enough respect for the environment, if we do not seriously consider in its restoration, we would have to be prepared for further pandemics beyond COVID-19. So that is something that is terrible. We are already sort of, struggling to cope with this pandemic. And if this pandemic is just the beginning of a series of pandemics due to climate change, then, well, human existence is definitely at stake. Comes the question of green combat. I have already spoken about green psychology, which is working for the environment, for bringing about positive behavioral changes that could reverse the negative environmental influences around us. So we now speak of how we can use this green combat further. And during this COVID period, I tried to carry out, some survey work from home, because we were all working from home. And I tried to carry out some survey work. And that survey revealed that urban dwellers who had access to green space, that is greenery, that was not much, just about 55%. And they enjoyed better health. So people, the urban dwellers who had access to green spaces, though they were smaller, they were not a very large percentage, but they enjoyed better health during this pandemic. And people who encouraged gardening, lived in green surroundings, and who had a healthy outdoor respect to a green environment, had better health during this COVID situation. And you can make out from these figures that a large percentage of people felt extremely restless and gloomy during the lockdown. People who were not exposed to greenery. But those exposed to green spaces, be it their own small garden, be it a rooftop garden, their terrace garden, their small kitchen garden, or their indoor plants, they felt a sense of peace and calm even during this very morbid, state of pandemic. So the Green Combat also found, my findings, I also, found that it was interesting that people spent or prefer to spend more than their usual time with plants during this lockdown period. So definitely they felt a certain calmness. They felt that they could handle it better if they were amidst greenery. So this had a restorative effect on their system. And it was something very much within our power, because if green plants restore or maintain our mental peace and calm, we can try doing that. We can have our own balcony garden or a rooftop garden. We can have certain indoor plants. We can have our small kitchen garden. Even if you have a small windowsill, you can cultivate certain plants there. And that can help, in combating our stress and anxiety during this pandemic period. There are emotional benefits of houseplants to nearly 74% of the participants. And 55% of the respondents, they said that they wished for more plants. They wished for more greenery during this difficult period. And at the same time, my survey also revealed that people who had no indoor plants and who were, deprived of the natural light, they experienced negative emotions. So this is what you call, having stress and anxiety due to adverse environmental conditions. And they experience feelings of anxiety, fear, and stress more frequently. And they felt, many people, 63% felt that when conditions return to normal, they would wish to spend more time with their plants, or they wish to have more plants in their surroundings. So for green homes, for greener homes, we all have maybe a few plants at home, but I could suggest a few plants to you which could help. For instance, the spider plant. It's one of the easiest plants. It's almost a zero maintenance plant, and it is a rich supply of oxygen. It spreads happy vibes. It is an easy plant to maintain at home. And of course, all know of basil. Basil is now very, very popular. So we could have basil at home. This sort of helps us to partly remove, if not the whole. I cannot recommend that it will fully remove anxiety and stress. It will be a mental disposition. The snake plant, Dracaena. Yes, this is considered highly efficient, also commonly called the mother-in-law's tongue. You know, this is again a very easy plant, very easy indoor plant. You could have this. I'm insisting on indoor plants because most of the time we are now confined at home. Even in workplaces, you know, we don't mix much. So we are all sort of restricted to our homes and to our rooms. So if you have a healthy environment there, it is an individual advantage. And globally also, it becomes a significant contribution to climate change. Jasmine, it has a wonderful fragrance. And the Journal of Biochemistry was a very interesting finding which said that it is the fragrance of jasmine which is as soothing as Valium. We all know that Valium is a nerve soother. We take it to soothe our nerves. And the fragrance of jasmine, it can be as soothing as Valium. And jasmine is a wonderful plant to have at home. Lavender, and with a beautiful fragrance, commonly aromatherapy, because it has a very beautiful aroma, and it helps to combat feelings of depression, confusion, chaos, fatigue, headaches, etc. And these are all, you know, scientific works published in the journal, the Biopsychosocial Medicine Journal. So these are recommendations that I have for your home, you could have. And of course, the very, very famous aloe vera, which is good for skin, which is good for the air around you, which is an air purifier, and is, of course, useful for emitting oxygen. So we find that when we talk of sustainability, sustainable living has now undergone a lot of changes, So we now talk of not only an environment, but a flourishing environment. It is not only an environment that exists. We need to work on the environment to make it flourish, to make it more habitable. We need an equitable economy. It's just not the economy, but it must be an equitable economy. And finally, when these two, when they act in harmony, do you have a vibrant community? We are not looking for a community which is sick and diseased and scared and tensed and anxious. We are looking for a community which is extremely pro-environment, which thinks of a friendly economy, which thinks of a green economy, which is productive. And so only then, if you have all these, only then will you have a community that is vibrant. And finally, climate change is the single biggest thing that humans have ever done on this planet, because as I said, there lies the anticlimax. It's something that has been largely brought about by negative anthropogenic interference. So it is for us to now control it. The one thing that needs to be bigger must be our movement to stop it. And the time is now. If it is not now, it will never be. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, madam, for your useful thought and discussion with this. And there is a question in the chat box. How do we do you recommend cities and municipalities to have green space program?
Absolutely. This is a very, very important aspect, because we are now talking of smart cities. The smart city is not only technologically advanced, it is a city that is green and that is sustainable. So there must be, because what is the problem with us? We have a city and then we talk of planting trees. But now the question is, the approach should be, when you plan something, you first plan where you plan to have a park or a garden or the green spaces. You plan for the urban green spaces, or you plan for the spaces, the green spaces first, along with your other, technological and technical structures. Because a tree is not an afterthought. It has to come at the very beginning. That initiates the civilization. So it is very important for all planners to consider greening right at the beginning, rather than at the end of the whole process when the damage is done. So it is very important. It is mandatory now.
Thank you. I think the question is answered. And then another question is, how do we resolve solid waste and plastic waste, which are global problem? Let us discuss. I will discuss that one in my talk. And then Dr. Mitu Detel, excellent presentation. Okay. Thank you. And
thank you so much.
Thank you for your deliberation. And I just shared the screen. The certificate of appreciation to you. And of course, you are the organizer, so your sign is there. Thank you, madam, for being with us and deliver the nice talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And today, now I have the opportunity here to talk on this topic today. So I request Madam and Professor Hassan Habib to give me permission to start.
Of course, please carry on.
Yes,
carry on.
It's all yours.
Thank you. As all of us discussing today on the climate change and health, the main topic, I will tell means the same thing, climate change and social impact on climate change, both vice versa actually. And this is one of the United Nations 17 SDG goal. Goal number 13 is the climate action. And as you know, that all these goals are interrelated with each other. That number 1 is no poverty, number 2 is zero hunger. So if there is poverty, hunger will be there. And if there is hunger, there will be no good health. We cannot think about our health if we are hungry. So first we have to, means if we have no money, we cannot eat. If we cannot eat, we don't think about our good health. And if we don't have good health, we cannot think about good education. So all these are interrelated with each other. So climate also one of the, of course, you can understand, we can understand that is one of the important goals. And then we can see that what is the reason of this? Reason is our civilization grew around the rivers from very ancient age. That we can see beside the river Ganges in India or other places where the water is there, the civilization grows. Why? Because they can take the advantages of the living household things for the forest and from the living things from the river. So we can grow, the society grows along with the natural habitat. The society cannot grow in a desert, in a hilly mountain area. like Mount Everest or something, and Gobi Sahara desert or any other places. So there we cannot think that yes, civilization will grow. Yes, there may be some countries is doing to try to make desert as a living place, trying to go to space to search for living space to make the climate constant to our society. But the thing is that we are mainly dependent on our climate. We cannot survive in a desert. We cannot survive in a ice like that, what you call the poles, North Pole and South Pole, because that is not our climate to live. We have to live and we have to depend on the climate. So there are different reasons. We know that there are cultural, religious facet of economy. The economy grows with the different types of things. Like if the soil is not fertile, I cannot cultivate. Like the Malaysia, we cannot cultivate the potato because the soil is salty. Like that. So we have to import. The country is dependent on importing the potato and rice because they cannot produce all the rice needed for the living being. Then irrigation of water and of course control of land degradation. These all things highly related with the economy and development of society, social economy of a country. See, if we look that what are the things, there are pharmaceutical, motor vehicles and part, outdoor recreation, financial services, insurance, outpatient healthcare. These are the economic giants that is covered in different, you can see the uses of economy in different places. As I'm talking about outdoor recreation, the climate, if it's giving outdoor recreation places where we can, in Malaysia, the first picture, you can see they can use like the recreation style, other country they can use like this. In India, they can use like this. Means we are using like this, the climate we are using for our society development. Now, suppose we are in COVID lockdown condition. So we cannot go out. This is the change in the climate come through air means virus spread rapidly. So we cannot go and do this recreational activity. So the society have an impact. The person living on this industry is totally jobless. You can see the city grown beside the river and the water resources. And you can see the pilgrimage and etc. where we gather around the water. And of course, Professor Hasanabi also shown that the waste we throw that also go and stuck beside the water places. And another thing is energy. If suppose this is, I have written in a book chapter that how energy is related with the climate. If the climate is supported sunlight, then we can do solar energy like in Malaysia. If the sunlight is not there, like in the seashore, sunlight many times it is affected with cloud and rain, heavy rain, but there is air is there. So we can use air turbines. This is the picture in Kanyakumari in South India I have taken. So this you can see the turbines, many turbines are air turbines are there and they are generating energy. Now, if I think that air turbine I fix on the top of the hill, it cannot be possible due to the climate is not favorable to do that. And if I think that, okay, I place this solar power beside the what we call mountain area also, and or the sea area also cannot work because the weather will not support. So now with this, the social activity, means social economy is also joined because the energy is generating through the solar. So solar energy need battery backup. Here also the turbine etc. is going on. So these persons working is not with the oil industry, to generate the electricity. It is not with the water industry to generate the electricity. So the social activity of the persons working is different. The persons working in agricultural field, like the banana we take, it is developed in different countries and imported to other countries. Like Australia, they developed the dole banana, they export it to Malaysia and other places. Sorry. Then next is, so if I suppose in Malaysia we have palm oil industry, so the climate is giving a place to develop this palm oil. It is not that in India we can, means the hill area is not so affected and the water will be lagged like this. So we cannot grow like the tea garden in hilly area. We cannot grow in other places. So these all dependent on the climate. If the climate change, all will be changed. Now, what is the changes going on? We will discuss. Suppose one change is there, like the disposable mask we are using for this COVID. So we are throwing it as a garbage, and that garbage going to deep of the sea, and life below water is affected. Now, it is made of plastic nanomaterial, and that plastic nanomaterial is a source of pollution. We don't know, but we have to use, because the change of climate and change of environment, we have to use. Then use and throw, and that throw is going to disposal system and inside the sea, and that will feel a garbage, different type of garbage. You can see it is taken from different articles published in different reputed journals. So you can see the use, and one of the example just I'm giving. So life below water is in threat. That is United Nations another goal. So we have seen these pictures that yes, plastic waste in the fish stomach or inside the cow stomach, and the fish also die directly with the gloves stuck in their mouth, cannot respire. So these are the challenges of plastic waste management, and there are many papers you can see, and I will not discuss these things, and what is the micro etc. We are not using plastic, etc. So there are many waste products during this COVID for PPE, and these masks we are wearing and throwing. So these are all plastic waste, and we cannot avoid this dump of plastic waste beside the health industry. And you can see the person walking with wearing a face shield and having a food in a plastic tray on his hand, and carry bag also plastic. We are ordering online for keeping safe us. Like just now I called online, a person come to deliver one product at my home because I have ordered online shopping. So how they coming? With a plastic insulation, plastic carrier, and everything made up of plastic. And this plastic going beside the sea, as just now the question arises that how it is damaging and how we can control. So these are the waste product beside the sea, and it cannot be degraded easily. So how? Previously, you can see there is we are using this type of fan. It is taken from Wikipedia. One person is working on that. You can see one person standing, and he is responsible to make the fan movable when the person around. Eco-friendly. The classroom and auditoriums. you can see there is mechanical places how we are using the fan previous time. But nowadays we are using fan, nowadays we are using air conditioner because we are feeling hot because there is no tree. We cut the tree and make our building to stay. And we are obstructing the air to pass. But we have no choice. We have to do this because the population is increasing. So we have to change our lifestyle and we have to go for electricity. We cannot hire people to move the fan always. So we have to depend on this. As soon as we depend, we need to air condition manufacturer. As the climate is hot, the population increase, we change our lifestyle and we have to change our working. That person pulling the fan now have to work in the air conditioner factory. And they need assistance, they need other related sources for this, like cheap, they need gloves, they need uniform, that needs tailor. So all this is society impact. Whole society is growing up with the industry grew up. As Professor Hasanavi just now showed that yes, with this we need electricity generation. And what happened? How the electricity coming? It is a alternate current, and that is the generation of current is not hampered due to the work of transformer. And when the transformer is thrown, the oil is spilled along the floor, and that is making the seepage and that area not fertile, non-fertile. So it cannot grow in vegetable. And of course, if the oil is transported through other places also, we have different types of things. As soon as we develop this type of industry, revolution and climate change is inevitable, we are facing air pollution and other things, and as discussed already, so I'm not going to detail. It is long before we have know that distant Beetleria in industrial revolution, the moth changes color with black, white to black, so due to the industrial revolution in UK, long back. So it is a not new thing. The climate change affecting an insect also. And this picture is last year in June, Ampung in Kolkata, means near Kolkata in West Bengal. You can see the person is affected with the disaster of the cyclone, and the water is from the sea come to the agricultural land. So all the places, the soil become infertile for long 1 year. And this year also the rain come in different aspect. As we are discussing with one of the professor of Bidhan Chandra Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, he told that yes, that rainfall is there and rainfall also is increased, but in different place, different time. So as the different time is shifting, so the rainfall is not used for the cultivation and etc. So it is hampering the social impact, society at a large. You can see the person lost their houses. They have to stay in different places. They have totally what you call out of their society, means social economy, and they cannot have job and anything. They are the sufferer directly. So we have to do what we can do. We have to regulate the use of plastic, how much we can do, and we have to do. It is not that everything we can throw. We cannot wear mask. No, not like that. We have to wear mask. We have to wear gloves. We have to wear PPE. We have to use plastic, but in a regulatory manner. And of course, reuse. But it is not that you can reuse others' mask and use you take out from floor and take out from garbage and reuse. Not like that. We have to reuse properly and then replace. If it is biodegradable, we can replace the material, like water bottle, we can use several times. So we have to do this in a community level, community cleanup and etc. So we have to love how we can save the water and other environment from this, use our own utensil and etc. We can use sharing our economy with other persons. Like if we go for travel, we can go with other person by same car, like that. So at the home, as Madam also told, that we can grow our own plants, etc. We can minimize our waste, and we can see the impact of our consumer in the store also. We can tell that, yes, don't use the plastic bag, etc. And also in school, we can do this. And of course, this is one of the aspects as the question arised last session. Yes, we are reusing the plastic. As Professor Hasanavi also told that it is exported to Malaysia. They are doing the recycling. So recycling of plastic to make road, it is a new concept is going on. But of course, you can see there is the means air is going out. That is also air pollution. But we have to cooperate with one, means we have to accept one with each other. So you can see the oil spill during means transport. It may be happen due to the what we call unexpected things. And so in last, we have to think from outside our window, from the academia, that what is the need for the society and how we can help to prevent the climate change. As I told, it is not possible that I sit down behind the tree and sleep without homeless. I have to be in home. I have to use fan, air con, everything. So, but we have to regulate our use so that we can prevent our climate change. As we are trying now in, suppose Malaysia, we are using electric train, LRT, automated, no battery. It is running by electricity. But how the electricity is generating? Electricity is generating by diesel, petroleum product. So petrol is burned, and that petrol is used for electricity generation. And it is more environment, opposition to environment and causing change in climate, that it is rising the temperature. And of course, it is you can understand the petroleum product, what are the hampers. So these are the things we have to think about, how we can control. If we use solar panel, yes, we can use solar panel, but also there is backup of battery, and that battery may be waste of source of lead, etc. So I am not going to detail that one aspect. If we cover another aspect, of course, will be open. So we have to think how we can control the matters, like the oil seepage. There are some scientists work and develop that oil-eating bacteria. Yes, that are the new avenues we can use to act on, means to make our climate more favorable for our living aspect. With this, we need more networking and collaboration. As you can see in this webinar also, I have given one book chapter, means you can propose a book chapter, you can write an article on this climate change, so that we can have an outside thinking and exchange of our knowledge with each other in a book form, that how you are thinking. It is not my thinking. Professor Hasanavi thinking on chemistry aspect, Madam Supatrati is thinking about the plant aspect. So she told that yes, you can plant inside the home. I have told, as a zoologist, I may told, yes, you can place an aquarium with a aquaponics system, but everything has a disadvantage and advantage. If I plant more plant, mosquito will come. Then mosquito will bite, I will have other disease. But I cannot think that, yes, mosquito comes, so I will not use agriculture. I have to protect mosquito in different way. I have to plant like that way. And that is the main thing. We have to think out of box. So for this, we need everybody to take part with each other and join hand with each other. With this, I thank, and of course, we are here for the United Nations 17 SDG goal. In the website, you can see. And of course, we are now discussing on climate change and global change of climate actions. You can see many reports are there, many useful news means informations are there on climate action. So please go through this, and of course you please write and share your thought in book form or book chapter form, or you can directly communicate with me for any short write-up, etc. Thank you again, and we again thankful to all the participants. I can see from different countries, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and of course India. There are many participants from different parts of India and different parts of Indonesia. Anybody want to tell anything? Please, floor is yours. All the participants can talk. Professor Habib, Hassan Habib, sir.
Oh, no, yes, very nice talk. Actually, I was waiting for just knowing some questions from other participants. So actually, very nice talk, and for the better environment and better education and better atmosphere, we need some collaboration, we need some discussion, and definitely we need motivation. Actually, Bangladesh, especially Bangladesh, we need the motivation of the people, not like actually, if you consider in Japan or developed country, their society is very developed. However, actually, like Bangladesh, we need some motivation from the government and the NGO and some like social activities platform. And
Yes,
we can do some collaborative research for the betterment. Thank you so much for inviting me, and very nice talk from you and from Professor Shen. She noticed some good, scientifically very sound from botanical point of view. So we need some just multidisciplinary thought for the better environment. Thank you so much from my side.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us full day. And Subhatradi, madam.
Thank you, everyone, for this very interactive. We are not perhaps we are not very many in number, but we are from different countries, and it was participatory. That is what I liked. Everyone is trying to put forth their views, so it's good. It's homely and it's interactive. That is what is very necessary. And thank you, Professor Ehsan Habib. It was wonderful listening to you, and I hope that I get to hear more of your lectures, because this is the first time that I meet you on this virtual platform. I hope to hear more from you. Thank you, Dr. Shandip Poddar. We are ever obliged to you for your wholehearted support and cooperation. Thank you, all the listeners and participants. And maybe again, someday, some other time, we'll meet again for further discussion on maybe this topic or maybe some other topic related to the environment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any participant want to tell anything? I think nobody want to talk. So we end here. Thank you again to come and join with us. Stay safe and wear a mask, maintain your distance, and of course, wash your hand. Thank you.